Like all players, I've had many influences. So starting this week, I'm going to show you which blues greats have had the biggest impact on my own playing. Now, we all borrow from the players who inspire us. A full list of every player who's had an impact on my development would be a long one. But a few stand out as having had the most effect on my style. And for the next few weeks of this series, I'm going to attempt to show you which aspects of their playing has directly influenced my own. Now first, I want to make it clear. My goal is almost never to simply parrot great players. It's always been important that I sound like me. So you'll rarely see me play note-for-note solos or anything entirely in the style of some other player. But rather, I absorb cool bits and pieces from different players and combine them with my own lines in an effort to stay true to my roots while continuing to focus on my own style. So I'm going to begin this series with a player I've shamelessly stolen from for decades, the mighty Albert Collins. Now there are four aspects of Albert's playing which have had the most impact on my own. And most of it comes from the fact that he played in a minor tuning with a capo. He would simply capo up to the position that he wanted to play in. Today we'll play in C and do everything in open position. And also these two strings, the D and the A string, would be tuned up a full step. So a riff like this would actually be played with an open string and a full step lower on this string. So it enabled him to utilize a lot of open strings. Now you could play that, but to me it has more the sound when you play it in this position. And you'll hear him begin his solo section a lot of times with that riff. Now, of course, when he hit this, he wouldn't have had that note available there, so he would hit it here. It's just a little more natural for me to hit it here. Now, another aspect of his playing was his vibrato, which was very much his own. He didn't tend to use that hummingbird fast vibrato of someone like B.B. King, for instance. His tended to be slower and wider. And I just love the sound of it. So you'll catch me using it quite a bit. Now, he didn't tend to bend to it, as so many blues players would in the first position. And I think that was primarily because if you have ever used a capo, you'll know that with the capo here, if you bend in these first 2 or 3 frets, your string's likely to stick in the capo and be out of tune. So most of his big bends, a full step or more, tend to be up here, higher, well, here or higher, so that he didn't have to deal with them causing the guitar to pull out of tune and stay out of tune. So when he did a bend, he would do it. And he'd do much smaller bends down here that didn't tend to cause that problem. See, that's barely. It's the same reason he didn't tend to bend the 4 up to the 5 like so many players would. Instead, he slid. And the one other thing that I tended to pick up and use quite often is the way he would hammer the dominant 7th on the 5 chord. Now, most players would go to the 5, which is the G, or perhaps the 5 of the G, or the 2 of the 1, which is the D, but he tended to very often hammer that 7th. And that's another one of his bends that I picked up. It's a great one. Where he takes the tonic and he bends it usually all the way up to the minor third. Now in the next example, I'll play a little bit to a backing track and show you how I might combine these Albert Collins style riffs with my own. Well, thanks for watching. Now, if you've made it this far, give this video a like. Do subscribe, and in the weeks ahead, I'll show you how other players have had an impact on my playing. And be sure to watch my gear videos on Fridays, and I'll see you then.